YouTube. And this is Shiny Side Out, broadcasting on WCCR for Australia, for Revolution Radio, on revolution.radio, where, because it is home to fresh, unfiltered ideas and conversations. You'll find those in the chat room where I am right now. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. You know what? The website, the station's website, is a great place to get your merchandise and say hello to us while we're on air in the chat room. You can do that. It's really cool. Mackie, did you know that this is show number 649?
940 and 600. What?
I know. And with all of those numbers, you can catch us online, on air, and anywhere, maybe wherever you happen to be, even the ISS, on your smart device. Or if you're in, one of those really cool SpaceX kind of ships, it'll just be on one of the tablets you have either strapped to you or using on the screen. So they're fantastic. It's 2001: A Space Odyssey when I see what's inside their spaceship. So crazy stuff. You know what? You can listen if you're on the ISS. You'd already know that you've got an app to listen anywhere, or sit at home with your feet up, a nice cup of coffee, or other kind of beverage, whatever you want, listening to a Grace Tabletop Digital Radio. If you miss Solaris's show, which I didn't miss all of it, I love that. I sound like one of my own children. I didn't eat all of it, right? With Miss B and Taylor Bond, and Solaris is awesome. Always has great guests. Just a shout out to Miss B and Taylor for having us on their show as well. Tremendous stuff. Mackie, it's free to get to the archive. So if you don't know who we're talking about, it's really important. This part's important. I know Mackie knows. You can just go and download shows that have been to air on freedomslips.com. It's actually revolution.radio. You can just get them. It's free. Do that, and then you can binge all you like. And I actually actively encourage people to take some. It's going to be dangerous. Sorry, wrong voice. No, never mind. Time's gone. I was trying to do my crusty, but I couldn't get it together. Actively encourage people to make little TikToks and whatever of anything we say. I don't really care. Do it, and at least you give us some credit for it. That'd be tremendous. Not negative credit, but good credit. All right. Now, Mickey, I'm broadcasting out of Darkinjung country. Where are you about in this crazy planet of ours?
Crazy planet. I'm in Darak country.
Yes, awesome. And we do pay our respects to elders past, present, and future. And for that matter, all of the peoples of the planet, the traditional custodians of the land. Because before, mechanization and globalization, and then coming AI and everything that we've done to it and all the wars we've had, they kind of looked after it a lot better. Anywho, Mackie. So I hit just going to let everyone know, I hit the appeal button because you don't get to talk anymore about anything. You only get to hit a button that says appeal when YouTube says that, you were providing medical information or misinformation or whatever. I don't really care anymore. On one of our shows. And so, instead of, this is what they could do, right? They could make it private, the video, just turn it to private, so you can't make it public. Fine. They could do that, they don't. They delete it. And it's gone. It's like magic. Wave their wand, and the video's gone. Because I always say this, tell me the time frame it is, and if it's egregious, right? We'll just delete it out of there, or blank out the words. Don't care. I said it's a radio show, right? And it's okay to say this stuff on radio, or to show a screenshot of a publicly available news outlet, not a fringe news. This is news.com.au. Now they play the game. They're in the game, they play the game, and they do the game, and they do it well. And all they had on the screen was some articles to do with something that they told us we were wrong. You can't talk about that.
No, can't do it.
Can't. So, and we were even very careful. I know, Meki, I listened to the show twice to hear if I could find it, what was the actual reason why they said what they, they blamed us for doing something wrong. I really couldn't see it. Because on the screen, there it was. And it's in the news in Australia. It's in the news globally. And it made not one bit of sense that they're still, brandishing this crazy idea that just because the WHO doesn't say something, that you can't say anything else. So if they are quiet, you can't talk. If they say something, you can't counter it. Not even in intellectual discussion. Not even if we had the highest ranking doctor virologist on the planet who read out the article, it would still be deleted. Isn't it nuts?
So it is.
But anyway, that's the game you play.
You can't fight. You can't find the truth, Dave. You can't fight it. You can't.
Well, that's why I uploaded it to Rumble. So, right? Yeah. That's why I don't care anymore. And once I sort out this live streaming directly to Rumble, YouTube's going to go bye-bye. So it's painful. It is painful. I spend most of my day. I've even got subscriptions. They don't care. There's no person. There's not a single person you can talk to about it. We don't have a million subscribers, right? They don't see it as a risk to their platform. Should we talk about it? We have 1,000. Who cares? They don't care. So that's why I ask. Do us a favors. There you go. That's perfectly cromulent. Do us a favor and comment in our video, watch the video, share it with other people, at least to say, hey, you know what, these guys are all right. Just do that, so then we get seen by more and we can actually build an audience. And then we can announce we're moving to Rumble, right? And we just do it all over again. And if you like us, we have a Patreon link. No one's ever given us a lick of money, none. So do something, help us out. If you can, that'd be tremendous. Anyway, so Becky, apart from that rant, I just want to say there's been a tremendous air show, 16th through to the 18th. Today's the 18th for us. It's the end of the 18th. Up in the Gold Coast. If you don't know where the Gold Coast is, just type in Brisbane, if you're an American, and you'll find it on the map somewhere. Right? It's in Queensland, Australia. And right near there, the closest thing to it, is a military base where they had some aircraft take off from for the air show and then go and land again. Yeah, it's fair, right? That's not terrible. But there was two aircraft that didn't perform in the air show, and they landed there. And I was watching a video from the airport itself where they said that in the video, and I've got the video on screen, and you can look for it by title and channel name, and it simply says that the surprise arrival in Australia as part of a highly classified bomb task force mission. That's it. That's all I'm reading. And that's the end of that story. Now, I know it's not part of the air show because all the other people go, oh, it's just part of the air show. Not a single video or photo or comment. It's not on the schedule of events for them to be there or fly. There's some Tomcats, F-14s, right? Flying. That's pretty much all there is. I think it was F-16s and F-14s. And that's all. So I wonder why it's there. It's a good question to ask. I like asking questions. You can't get in trouble for a question. Oh, unless you're me when I was like 5 and I was kicked out of Sunday school. My parents, for a very short period of time.
New. Independent thought alarm. New.
Code Blue.
Can't get in trouble for asking questions. You're funny, Dave. You're a comedian is what you are.
Do you know what?
Not trouble.
I wish I were. So they just kindly asked my parents after I asked some questions. I'll tell you what they were in a minute. I asked, so they were asking, do you mind if he's a bit of a disruption. Can we not bring him again? I'm sure there's other activities. There's also I'm sure there's other activities he could be doing rather than attending Sunday school, And all I asked when I found out that Cain and Abel just went to another town. So first, man and woman got kids, and the kids leave to go to another town. What?
That's with the other first man and woman.
Well, what? Yeah, what's with a town? What is it? Is it one of those just a ghost town that they just walked into?
It was the B-set. B-set, man.
So
what?
There was an established town with people, and that's the end of the story. No, and I go, kind of like Bart Simpson. How could he have been in 2 places at once? Ticonderoga and the other thing, right? And Bart gets kicked out for asking the wrong question. And it was the same for me. I was asked not to return. Hang on. If a kid's working it out, and the adults are like, oh yeah, whatever, just whatever. Yeah, sure, I'll believe in all of it for some reason. No one worked the timeline out. So, done. That was me in religion. That was the end.
But it doesn't stop in early childhood. I had a similar experience when I was at university. It wasn't really so much asking the wrong question, but there was, I can't remember, it was psychology, I remember that. It was year 1.
Can Mekki not attend anymore?
Yeah, can we just repay his tuition? Not quite, no. It was definitely year 1 uni, and I was doing psych. And it was Freud, something Freud. It's always Freud. You can't get past Freud. And so we had to write an essay or something in a tutorial. And I wrote something. I don't even know what it was anymore. But just I got it back and it wasn't very good. And I said, well, why did I, do so poorly? I asked, well, you can't know that yet. I said, excuse me? Well, the thing, you're out there, it's like this is year 3 or whatever material, so you can't really know it. I said, I see. So your curriculum limits my ability to absorb information. It doesn't. It suffices to say it didn't go well, and it's not much. There's no appeal. It's like, no, you cheated. You ran ahead. What? I didn't say that, but I found it funny that you can learn this much and no more, and the next year you can learn more. Then the year after that, you can learn a little bit more. And I just happened to be at the time interested in Freud, and I read a whole bunch of stuff in German. So I answered the question differently, I guess. So it doesn't. The funny thing is, it never stops, Dave. It doesn't stop.
That's really funny.
And it wasn't that it was wrong. I just couldn't know it yet. You see, that's the funny thing. I still remember it. It's funny. It really is.
So in physics in the US, and also computer course that I did at high school, I was able to do extra credit and then start burning into next semester, and I did 3 semesters in 1 semester for at least computer studies. And the other one, my physics teacher said, look, just don't ask the questions out loud in class. Participate in your current example, and then just leave it there. But if you want, and I ended up doing extra credit. So because I was taking the poor kids into a zone that they weren't prepared for yet. And that was fair. And my professor, he actually taught me how to get through that. And it was, the fun physics that we were learning was amazing, because we did relativity in second, and I only wished that we were more closer to today as far as quantum was concerned, because I would have pushed that accelerator really hard. But I'm still in touch with the professor. He's a great guy. Levine, if you ever listen to my show, good on you, man. Love your work. So Meki, isn't it extraordinary? Just the slightest difference in phrasing or wording can. Did you keep doing it? Did you remain quiet, or just do your own research?
I'm not a slow learner, but I'm a quick learner. So I just adhered to whatever they wanted to hear, and that got me through university just fine. Thank you very much.
Wow.
And and in the last year, I think I got HDs for most of my stuff.
Oh, nice.
And it was because I was interested in the last year. The lecturers I had, this was year 3 or whatever it was, year 4, can't remember. They were really engaged, and that makes you engaged as well. And they actually, well, being the last year, I guess, they wanted to know new stuff or whatever, so you could, I guess, be more yourself in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But initially, that was just funny. I had a suspicion, because the tutorials are run by, not always, but often by PhD candidates, or not the lecturer necessarily, but it could be support staff, and they might not have read as far ahead. You ever had those teachers that only read the material in school, even that only read the material for that class?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And you go, how did you get this job? How did you get this job? So you know as much as the textbook, and that's pretty much where it ends. And I think this is the problem that we have with modern education. There's very few people that, in my opinion, that are truly engaged, and they are, teaching is a really important profession. And here in Australia, certainly we don't take it seriously enough. We don't pay it enough.
Mm-hmm.
And
to be honest, very few countries pay well for education services. Yeah,
correct. I think Scandinavia is doing pretty good. I mean, but Scandinavia overall, the whole model that Scandinavia has. Look, if you don't know it,
from top to bottom. Yeah,
have a look.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal, and it goes from the royalties you get for the natural resources right down to social services. No, they're not a communist country. Taxes are high, yes, but education, healthcare, transportation, a whole bunch of stuff that they have is either very cheap or free, and especially healthcare. I mean, if you're American listening now, if you've got something wrong with you, or if you're not rich, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. But yeah, look, there are not very many countries, you're right, today. The importance of public, I think we have to emphasize this, importance of public education. It's just not there anymore. Private education, whole different ballgame.
Oh yeah, I know that they're terribly well funded, and you sound terrible. Have you got the flu or something? Or
no, I have no idea what I have. It's just not going away, my friend.
It's just not going away. Yeah.
It's not. I've got a. In fact, I'm not one to go to the doctor too often, but I've got an appointment for tomorrow morning. And considering the GP is my wife's cousin, so I thought, yeah, that's safe enough. I'll go and have a look.
Well, that's fair. So it sounds to me like a head cold.
Look, it started in my bronchial tubes, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of coughing and a bit of a sore throat, then it moved its way up into my sinus area. It's not debilitating. I don't feel sick per se. Tired, yes. Run down, yes, but not. You know how when you feel sick, and then, this doesn't feel like that. Anyway, I know
your temps are okay.
Sorry.
Your temperature's okay.
Oh, I got no fever. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
No
yeah,
fever.
you're just a mucus bucket.
Just thank you. Yes. Well and poetically put, my friend. You're a scholar and a gentleman.
You know, I'd always thought about going to the medical profession.
But
I
Excuse me,
figured-
his bedside manner leaves something to be desired, but good, he's good looking.
I always figured that I'd be like, once House came out, the show, I would have been a lot like him. I'd have to say, because my IT was really good, because I found half of it was psychological problems with people. Half of the fixes were psychological fixes,
Yes.
and that it taught me a lot about people. But so when it's just about teaching, a little bit of a segue. I know I said this in another show, but I think it's valid at this point. And I was at a parent-teacher night, and my daughter's science teacher, this is year 9, so that would have been, that's a senior in junior high, I think year 9, and then 10, 11, 12 are, sophomore, junior, senior, that's in senior high. So this would have been the senior in junior high, year 9. And I said to the teacher, so have they done double slit experiment yet? Oh yeah, light is a particle and a wave. And then here comes the, it came in like a wrecking ball, right?
Oh, nice.
And I went, that's one way of looking at the experiment, but the experiment really wasn't that. I said, it was that the observation of it changes the outcome so significantly that we can't explain why it does it, and it's such a it plays upon everything that shouldn't be real in our observation. Just observing it changes from interference pattern to being it just went through 2 slots and paints 2 slots on the wall. That's it. Single slot, single slot, single painted line, 2 slots, 2 painted lines. Oh, but only when you look at it. If you don't look at it, you get an interference pattern. And it's like, what? That's what the teacher says. This is insert the teacher's response. What? Again, no, have a look at it. You'll see that that's the case.
So hang on, the teacher wasn't aware. Is that
Never
what you're
looked.
saying?
Never looked that deep into it. It's year 9.
See,
So that's
one
quantum.
of the-
That's quantum physics. I never went that far with it.
It's almost insane, because it is one of the most fundamental mysteries that we've come across in our search for knowledge.
It changes our entire perspective on life.
This double slit experiment makes no sense in any way, right? It makes no sense. It makes even less sense when you realize it changes, when you start looking at it and not looking at it.
And then the delayed version of that experiment means that it does it back in time.
Yeah, retroactively, which should be impossible. So there are two things that quantum physics has shown us.
Yeah.
That we don't understand the universe, or the multiverse for that matter, as it is, and we don't understand it at all. And one is of course the double slit experiment. The other one is entanglement. Both of those things very clearly state, guys and girls, you have no idea how the universe actually works.
Uh-huh.
And I saw an article on a scientific publication again this week, which said, we're launching a new telescope and we'll finally find dark matter. I said, good luck.
Good luck with that, you pork chops.
Why don't you go ahead and find that dark matter? But I find
someone had to lobby some people for money, right, to get it happening. Good for you.
Yeah, but you see, in Australia, I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, and our esteemed listenership obviously would know better. But in Australia, we really try to encourage our children to go into STEM subjects: it's science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yep.
So we really want them to go into those kinds of careers, because obviously they're very important for the future. I'm not saying others are not, but we seem to be lacking, in Australia, running behind somewhat. And in order to get kids interested in STEM, right, science, technology, engineering, and math, give them some serious mysteries. Give them something that puts them in awe. And I can't think of anything better. I'll be honest with you, nothing better then quantum physics and the double slit experiment as well as entanglement. Really explain it to them. See, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can figure out what it is, there's $1 million and a Nobel Prize for you.
Totally there is.
And you go, oh, but see, if our teachers, this is what I mean, Dave.
Uh-huh.
When I said earlier, they just learn enough for the lesson at hand. This is shocking. I mean, our teachers need to be the experts, well, at least as best as they can if they chose to teach physics or science, right? Know the stuff that you're teaching, or have some curiosity, or at least make your children feel a little excitement or mystery as you teach it.
Give them the label of explorer.
Yeah.
Because that's huge. Mm-hmm.
Kids love it. And then you have a class discussion. Just what do you think this is?
That's right.
Doesn't matter how old they are. It doesn't can they come up with the answer? Well, maybe not, but maybe they will. I don't know.
You could inspire them into going down the path, I think, with the label of adventurer.
Completely.
Discoverer,
and
right?
I will say this, because my kids are in public school. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm going to leave them there, going to high school, but look. Anyway, but right now my eldest daughter was lucky enough to go to or qualify for an opportunity class. An opportunity class is you sit for a test, and then I don't want to lie here, I think there's a couple of thousand spots in New South Wales, and I think 25 or 30,000 kids apply, and you have to do well on the test to actually get a spot.
Nice.
But it's a completely different way of teaching, and it's a lot more interactive and a lot more independent as well.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter really loves it. Okay, as opposed to the teaching she experienced up till now. Some of it was good because the teachers were good, and some of it was awful because the teachers were awful. But right now she's having a really good time because she's learning stuff that's more interesting. Like she can make up her own things, she can have her own projects, etc., etc. But that kind of OC thing, of course, it's targeted at, I guess, what you call gifted students, but that should be available for every kid. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't just be for because every kid in their own right has potential. It might not be the potential that we're looking for. I mean, it might not be good at math or whatever, or whatever it might be. But you have a gift. Every child, I firmly believe, has something to offer, right? But we only take a handful, and literally it's a handful of kids, give them the special treatment, right? In public education, I'm talking about. Yep. And the rest, well, good luck to you. See how you get along.
Well,
right?
I was really looking forward to this most recent parent-teacher night that has just come and gone, because the science teacher, I wanted to break them. It's like kind of breaking in a Brumby. I wanted to do that and say, have you taught the kids yet that, or postulated at least, that all electrons are the same electron? Because they're all identical. They all measure identically. How did they get made? Doesn't make a lick of sense. How can they all be the same?
Yep.
Right? So, but sadly, the science teacher for my daughter, as a sophomore equivalent in the US, year 10 here, was absent on the night. So I'll just save it up for next year. Right. So I think that's hilarious. It isn't, it's not, it could be rocket science, but it isn't. I just felt it was a very funny thing to do. I don't have very much else in common with anyone except for my daughter attending school, and that all the teachers love her. She does great. The only one that she was having problems with was science for some reason, and I thought that might have broken the, cut through the air and got to a serious conversation about science. But it wasn't to be, sadly, Becky. I'm quite disappointed. You know, you can only do what you do, right?
That's the thing, right? And that's the limitation. But if everybody was equally engaged, upset, I don't know what the word is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got together, because the thing is this, funny enough, I didn't think we'd talk about it, but since there seems to be a
Here
natural...
we are. Mm-hmm.
No, it's the ray gun thing, right?
Oh, no.
A lot of people were upset with her performance, which is,
Mhm.
okay, I get it. I watched it, and did I think it was the best breakdancing I've ever seen? I didn't think I was watching breakdancing, to be honest with you, but that's neither here nor there, right? But really upset, and viciously so. And up to the point where there was a petition started, I think, on GoFundMe.
Mm-hmm.
And it got something like 40,000 signatures to I don't know, to do something, to look at how she got into the Olympics, etc., whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, well, you've got a lot of energy to put into this, guys. You know, I mean, why don't you just put it somewhere useful? I mean, who cares if she danced well or poorly? I'll be honest with you. I mean, personally, was I impressed with her performance? No, I was not. But, you know, so what? That's my cross to bear. Okay?
Well,
She went out there, she did what she did. Should she do it again? Should we fund her to go? No, I don't think so. I don't think she should get another chance. No, not by any measure. But
well, I heard that the Australia's number one was competing in Worlds and couldn't attend or something. Right?
Look,
that's fine. That's fine.
Look, whatever the case may be, but
Mhm.
take your energy and your hatred and turn it into something else and petition for better school systems, for better curricula, for better teachers, for more engagement, whatever. I don't care. But something, right? Something useful. And this is the thing, right? I always lament people that are just going to Facebook to feel like activists. I'm an activist. I just told everybody how I feel about this. Look at me.
Well, that's going to disappear soon, Mickey, with all the things going on in England.
Actually, there's something else that I want to talk about Brazil, but hold that thought for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But let's do something let's us do something useful. So 40,000 people, I mean, first of all, people felt angry enough to start the petition, number one.
That's
Number
right.
two, 40,000 people felt, yeah, that's right. Some of those claims made in the petition were actually wrong, but, you know, again, neither here nor there. That never stopped a good petition. But, you know, let's just channel that into this. Okay, because let's say, so the petition gets off the ground, so what, you're punishing this one woman, and then maybe the head of the mission, the lady, I can't remember her name, whatever the name is, and then what? Are you feeling better about yourself? Oh, look, whatever. I understand.
Yeah, like, you're asking a good question, Mickey. To what end?
Yeah, I understand the disappointment. Channel it. Change the petition to, hey, let's teach our children better in school. Let's make OC available for all kids. Because the thing is this, the classroom that my daughter is in has, oh geez, I don't want to lie. I want to say it's about 25, maybe even 30 kids.
Okay.
And only the one teacher. I think there's two teachers, you know, because they help each other out, I guess, when they're off. But they're really good teachers. So I'm thinking to myself, why can't we have all those teachers? Like, but apparently they have to have special qualifications to do this kind of teaching. They go, great, let's get all the teachers to get these qualifications. All right, and then all the teachers, or maybe a lot of teachers, will be able to teach, and we can offer this level of teaching to all our kids, or to at least a vast majority of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's my thinking. But I don't know if you saw this, Dave. I'm pretty sure you did.
What is it?
Speaking of X and whatever, in Brazil, I think it was Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. X. That's it. It stopped its business at X, that is, or Twitter. I don't like to call it Twitter, because Brazil, there's something over censorship, and they said that their lawyer or representative was threatened by a Supreme Court judge, so they have suspended, as far as I know, its services and closed its offices in Brazil. You know what? I think
you mean they've
people
shut down X in Brazil?
Yes.
Right.
Well, that's what it says.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I should rephrase that. They've shut down the offices in
Right.
X.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do shut down, if they do shut down X, for example, right, in Brazil, people might realize, hey, we don't need X. Because I think that's exactly what happened. If you turned off Facebook and Twitter and whatever, and TikTok, okay. People would initially, a couple of weeks, maybe a few days or whatever, they'd be a bit lost. But after that, guess what? Life goes on.
It kind of comes good again. That's right. So in England, I think there's a guy serving 5 months jail. I forget his name and I forget what he typed, but he posted 3 photos onto Facebook with comments, which was a question for each one, and he was called out as being racist. But from the examples, which I won't read, I won't read on air. He didn't say anything specific. So in the English language, to be called a racist, you must say something against someone else. Now it can be a group or it can be an individual. It doesn't matter. Country if you want, right? However you slice it, it doesn't make any difference. But he was calling it out, and for that he got 5 months. And these were photos that he didn't even take. He didn't go to the riots, and now he'll be serving without appeal. He'll be serving jail time and have that.
Oh, really?
Record.
So what was the justification?
I can only share it with you offline.
Oh.
I can't say it on air because I don't want to be accused of any words at all. But see, the UK is not America. And I know we're not the UK either, although we have a flag on our flag representing something very similar. And our system is based on the English system.
Yes.
But how close are we going to be following behind if we're holding America's pocket in one hand, right? And I love that expression one of my best friends gave me, where we're still towing the line as far as England is concerned. We haven't broken away. We still have the Westminster system, like I said, and well, it is what it is. It's just how severe do you want those rules to be to stamp out what you believe from the government's perspective, right? I know why they're doing it. They're trying to stamp out hate. That's fair. It's a very fair thing to do. If you've got a lot of unrest, let's just go for not the cause. Let's just go straight for what people are doing in relation to what causes everything. Let's not self-examine, right? Don't know. Let's just shut it all down. Now, I without going too far, we have let's call the internet czar, because that's really a popular phrase, the czar now, right?
The czar.
America has used that for a very, very long time in different perspectives, as being the ultimately responsible person for something. Now we have one of those here, and they've made attempts to, on the government's call. In fact, our leader of Australia, our Prime Minister, has said, "I want the internet rid of memes of me." What? Well, that's not the way to go about it, right? How do you go about it? You don't give them material to make memes of you. Because memes are of what we were seeing cartoons in Australian media for as far back before I was born. Cartoonists would do a cartoon of the current story of the day or the week or what have you, and pop it in the paper, and we'd all have a little laugh. That's a meme, if you want to call it that. Today, we have a very simple way of creating a meme. There's even meme generators that you can say, I want that image, I want to put this text on it, and hit publish. Done. And usually a meme is to point out something exactly the same in the media, something current. It's got to be like a current affair of some kind, because otherwise the meme's going to fall flat. And does it tell a perspective? Yes, it does. Can we have a laugh? Sure. And should we all laugh at ourselves? Yes, first, and others second. We should be humbled by someone pointing out something, one of our flaws, a mistake we've made, right? Something, a gaffe. It doesn't matter what it is. We should be able to laugh at it. Do you remember, Meki, I'll hand it to you, but do you remember the ABC show where they had the, I don't know, what do you call it, like a limo with the flags, and they walked in, this is during the Olympics.
Yeah.
And they had their Secret Service, pretend Secret Service. Well, that same group of people...
Do you
remember?
The Onion?
Yeah, not The Onion. Whatever it's called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the ABC, and when they confronted the Prime Minister with stupid questions on his daily walk, he gave him a hug. Because it was better than, the bad press was better than, no press. And so...
but Dave, sorry, I think we need to finish your point. There's something important.
So I think this is what we've gone away from. Realizing that if you're a tall poppy, you're going to have things happen. If news stories are there, why can't we comment? Oh, maybe because we're not one of the big players. You can't have small players doing it. Or what? You tell me. What's the answer?
No. Look, the thing is, first of all, in Australia, our Prime Minister doesn't need 50,000 bodyguards when he goes for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Just goes for a walk. It's hilarious. And you can have a chat with him. You might even meet him in Canberra in a pub, have a beer, whatever, or other politicians for that matter. Because Australia is that kind of country. It's really good. But you're right, though. I think we've lost not us, the politicians, to some extent. Maybe they take themselves too seriously now, a little bit. Because Australia is built on larrikinism. And then some people made that same argument for Reagan, being a big bit of a larrikin when she did her breakdancing. And we always cut down tall poppies. Always. We always give them grief. I mean, we still applaud the achievement, but we still got to give them grief. It's just the Australian way. Not in a malicious kind of way, but just so they know, hey, it's like the Emperor of Rome had a guy to stand behind him as he went through his marches and triumphs through the streets of Rome, and he would whisper in his ear, "Remember, thou art mortal. Remember, thou art mortal." So nobody gets too big a head, essentially. And that's sort of gone away, but I think we are now in Australia, certainly elsewhere, we're moving into a space where these politicians think they are in fact beyond reproach, beyond control, beyond the normal person, in my opinion. Certainly that ship has long sailed in Europe and America. I think certainly in Southeast Asia and most of Asia, Africa, the politicians and despots that claim power there, they are certainly well beyond the people. So it's happening, Dave. And I think we should have more of those. It wasn't The Onion. If I only could remember.
It wasn't. No.
Oh,
I do love The Onion.
But they were astonished. Now this was when the U.S. president was here. They were astonished they had gotten as far as they did.
Yeah.
To be clear. But you can. I mean, I ran into John Hewson into a pub here in Sydney. He was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was no longer the Prime Minister. It was after his defeat. And actually, no, he was never the Prime Minister. In fact, I did vote for him, but he never made it. Anyway, afterwards, I was pretty hammered by the time, and I said, I voted for you. You're a good man, blah blah. And he took it with grace, and said, oh yeah, that's great, thanks a lot. And we both went our way, but he wasn't being an a-hole about it. He didn't go, oh, you gotta get away from me, you crazy person, anything like that. So, and I have to say, yeah, I'm bald. I've got a funny beard, and I'm fairly large in the shoulders, especially. So, anybody would be excused to tell me to get away from me, crazy person. But yeah, no, it was good. It was a great experience, and he was a good guy. And I think most politicians back in the 90s, because that's when this was, would have reacted a similar way. Famously, Bob Hawke was a big drinker. very big drinker, and he used to like, and he came out of the union movement as well for labor. So that folksy background for him. But yeah, look, Dave, it's a tough situation we find ourselves in on many fronts, and I think what we've seen in the last 20 years, there's been a widening of the gap in every possible aspect of life.
That's right.
And if you don't see that, then you're probably born after the year 2000. And I pity you. I really do. It wasn't always like this. Some countries, yes, always, but in many countries it wasn't like that. And definitely in Australia it wasn't like that at all. And the gap got wider and wider. And it's education, it's healthcare, it's politics, it's police, it's the law, it's rich versus poor, it's class war, it's culture war, it's stupid war, it's the gender wars, and I don't even know how many genders there are now, to be honest with you. I've lost count. But anything to divide us. I expect more things to pop up. I don't even know what could be next, but there will be more things to divide us. 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, just keep your eye on Britain and its laws and how many people are charged and what kind of sentences they're being committed to. And this isn't even looting. I mean, looting's bad, right? Looting's bad. I don't believe it. People should be looting.
I agree.
Right? That's number one. Because malicious damage is one thing, then theft is another, and that's just not right. You shouldn't be doing it. Protesting peacefully, totally, 100% agree. Protest all you want, and in the numbers that you feel, obviously not you feel, but in numbers sufficient enough to change laws, and not just get press. But that's how we should be protesting. It's our right to protest in democracies. Now, you can change laws through that, right? Do it. And I actively encourage people to protest civilly and peacefully, and do it in, with your permits, because in Australia you need permits to do it. Don't do it unlawfully. And you're sadly never going to be able to restrict access to the protests to what we used to call the rent-a-crowd. So rent-a-crowd is a group of activists that join on, like stacks on, if you're an Australian you understand what that means. They'll join on to your ideal, but then they'll do something that is against your ideal, like they'll change a peaceful protest into malicious damage or worse. And we used to call them rent-a-crowd. So if you're in a peaceful march, you always kept your eye out for these people that didn't match your demographic at all. At all. Because they had nothing to do with what you were protesting about, but suddenly they all turn up. And we had communications available to us to be able to say, I've just spotted rent-a-crowd, split up, and we would all just abandon the protest and leave these people to it. So we weren't ever involved in it. It was really bad. When it happens, it's bad. But in America with the Black Lives Matter protest, Mackie, it does seem like they let them run out. They let them burn themselves out. Mind the pun.
I think
in England, not so much, right? They're just all on the hatred.
Not as much, no. But there were two different ones. You see, in England, it was the right wing, or the nationalists that sort of instigated the riots. In America, it was the African Americans, more the Black Lives Matter protesters, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not saying that they were violent. What I'm saying is there are probably people in that crowd that took advantage of it, and I think the same thing had happened in England. People took advantage of it. But see, this is the thing: if you're in a predominantly white country with a colonial history, you can't let that kind of stuff run rampant. People are looking at you. Understand? So if these had been protests that were sparked by immigrants or asylum seekers,
Hmm.
I don't know if it would have been as harshly dealt with as this. But because this is right wing, in Germany it's the same. France is very similar. Most of the European nations are this way. The right wing, if they dare to, actually do something, will always be dealt with harsher than anyone else
Yeah, I hear you. But guess what?
because of history.
We're not going to hear bumpers because of the technical issues. What we're going to do is just cut it here. We're at the right time. Stay tuned for our second hour where we're going to be talking about Megalithic Builders Part 5. So if you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a second video coming up for the second hour. All right, in the meantime, take the time to donate